Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Auger. I work at Red Hat in the virtualization team, and today I'm going to talk about KVM unit test and KVM self-test with a special focus on ARM. After a brief introduction, I will introduce the two test frameworks, and I will try to compare them. I will also discuss some Git stats, and we will have a look at the current status for the test code base in both frameworks. Then I will do my utmost to advertise the frameworks. I will give you some examples. I will put forward the highlights for each of them. I will talk about my personal experience, some lessons I learned while writing some KVM unit tests. Then I will talk about something that looks very important to me is how to develop tests on time using ARM MVP models and how to develop KVM unit test and KVM self-test with those environments, or it can be also with QEMU TCG. Then I will talk about another very nice feature that is brought by KVM unit test with QEMU, which is the capability to test migration. And eventually we will conclude. So as an introduction, I would say that virtualization for ARM now is a reality. We have systems in production. The good thing also is that we have stabilized some historically difficult areas. I'm of course thinking about the VGIG, but also I'm also thinking about timers and so on. Still, we have a significant kernel code base, and we have lots of traffic on the mailing list. Lately, we have seen huge reworks, such like the page table code rework, mitigations, and most importantly, I would say we have a lot of KVM new features that come along with ARM v8 something ARM spec revisions, for which we generally do not have any hardware to test with. And that's new, and that's a problem actually. So now we have seen the status of the KVM for ARM subsystem. Now, if we look at the status of the related KVM unit test frameworks, so the situation is a bit different. We have actually very few unitary tests which are contributed. Generally, new features are coming without any unitary tests. They are directly functionally tested with a user space, QEMU or KVM tool. And eventually, unitary tests generally come too late and do not have very significant coverage. Besides that, we have very few bug reproducers, despite we have bugs. So I wanted this presentation to be a short time for introspection, try to understand why we are in this situation with respect to the unitary test, and most importantly, how we can improve things. So now let's enter into the details, and let's have a look at a comparison between both test frameworks, which are the KVM self-test on one end and the KVM unit test on the other end. So first of all, KVM self-test on the left column is the most recent one. It was introduced in 2018, and we have ARM port since that year too. What is very nice is that the KVM self-test are part of the Linux tree. So with that framework, the tester is going to focus on the KVM user API function calls, and also have the ability to write some guest code, which is going to remain very simple. Sorry, it's written in C and assembly code, and it's running at EL1 privilege level. So with this framework, you have absolutely no dependency. I mean, the tester writes directly KVM user API calls on the host and writes the guest code. So there is no dependency on any VMM user space like QEMU or KVM tool. And this is the major difference with KVM unit test. So what the framework brings actually is some wrappers, helpers around the most useful, the most used KVM API functions. It also brings a bunch of code dedicated to allocation within the VM, physical allocation, virtual allocation, and also mapping, translation services between the different address spaces. And with respect to the code running on the guest, so there are very few services brought by the framework. Basically, it's a capability to sync between the host and the guest. So now let's have a look at KVM unit test. So this framework is much more ancient. So it lives in its own repository since 2010, and there is an ARM port since 2014. So as I mentioned earlier, so as opposed to KVM self-test, KVM unit tests are not standalone. They rely on an existing VMM user space. The default one was a QEMU, running either in KVM or TCG mode, but it can be also a KVM tool. And the tester this time is going to focus on guest code only. So it's going to write guest code in C and assembly at TL1, and recently it has been supported also to develop at TL2 for nested. So this is not upstream yet, but it's in flight. So this time the framework is going to bring you services at guest code level. So you will find basic OS services, vector handling, SMP, UART, device tree, interrupt management, and so on. Some libc function and test-specific utilities to report errors and so on. And besides those services for guest code writing, the framework also brings some interesting bash scripts that we will develop some of them later on, which allows to configure the test, to group them, and to also test migration with QEMU, for instance. So now we have seen that the part that is tested is different in KVM self-test and KVM unit test. So KVM self-tests are very adapted to the test of existing and new KVM user APIs. So it's meant for that. And the test will involve very simple guest code. So it's very practical also to test in its sequence, for instance, and I think about that because so we have suffered a lot with VGeek, PMU in its sequences, and it could have been really fruitful to have such kind of test in this framework. And it's largely used also for nested in other arts. Now for KVM unit test, so it's different. So you focus on guest code writing. So you can write much more involved guest code that cares for interrupts, for timers. And what is also part of the software being tested is the VMM user space. So would it be QEMU or KVM tool. And so it's a major difference compared to KVM self-test, where the tester directly calls the KVM user APIs. So it's totally different. So KVM unit test is very adapted to the test of in-kernel emulated devices, and it's largely used for that. So the majority of the test code is aiming at that today. But it's also used to write some micro benches. You can also test migration, which is a difference compared to self-test as well. And it only works with QEMU because QEMU is the only user space. I mean, is the user space that supports migration compared to KVM tool. And it's largely used also for nested testing. So now let's have a look at some Git stats. So it's not meant to look into the details, but I wanted to emphasize the big difference between x86 commits in the different frameworks compared to the other Arch. And you can see that the number of commits related to ARM are very slow. Of course, so you have some commits that are related to framework stuff, but so globally, we have a very small number of commits related to ARM in both frameworks. So if we look now at KVM self-test, so So it's quite simple. Actually, we have no ARM-specific test. We only have the framework itself that supports ARM. And we have few tests which are shared between different architectures. For instance, we have stolen time, max vCPU, max memslots, dirty log test, daemon paging. Those tests were generally initiated on x86 and were ported to ARM later on. So on KVM unit test, the picture is a little bit different. We have ARM-specific tests. So you will find some of those here. So SMP, Geek, ITS MSI controller, PMU, RTC, some cache test, timer-related test, microbenches, PSCI. But still, the coverage, even for those devices or some of those devices, the coverage is insufficient, and we don't have so many tests actually. So now I'm going to enter into more details with respect to each kind of test, and I'm going to introduce some examples actually, because I thought it was easier to understand what the frameworks allows you to do. So for KVM self-test, I chose the still time test example. So this test is allows you to test that stolen time value reported to the guest by KVM matches the procfs SCAD value. So what this test does on the host is that it's calling a set of KVM user API functions. So definitively, it's going to create a VM, create mem slots, create some guest VA, guest PA mapping within the guest, create the vCPUs. What is very interesting is that he's going to test the API for stolen time. So he's going to check the stolen time capability. It is going to configure the device attribute for stolen time and test different kinds of errors. And eventually we will run the guest. So what runs on the guest is very simple code that call SMCC, that does SMCC calls to read the stolen time value and write the read value at some places that is readable by the host. So there is a mechanism to share the variable between the host and the guest. And of course, since the goal is to steal time from the guest, so the test is going to launch a thread with the same affinity as the vCPU that steals time from the guest. And eventually, so the host is going to read the guest stolen time value read by the guest and compare it against the procfs value. So this is I think this is a good example of what can be achieved with KVM self-test. So I wanted to highlight few things, if you were to remember only a few stuff. So there is no need to wait for any user space integration. So you do not need to wait for a given feature to be integrated in QEMU or in KVM tool. So you can write the test directly once the KVM series is available. What is very nice is your testing efforts are going to be easily visible from the kernel community because it's in the same tree. It's a very nice way to learn the KVM user API and to test the KVM user API, of course. The setup is easy and you can develop tests very fast because you don't boot any guest, real guest. So I mean, it's very fast iterating. So there are crying needs with respect to self-test because we have seen there are very few tests actually. We have, even for the tests which are shared with other architecture, some of them are not actually implemented for ARM. So I'm thinking about memslot related tests. So this can be done quite easily, I think. And of course, we have no ARM specific test yet. So logically, any new KVM API, KVM user API should be unitary tested with KVM self-test framework before any user space integration. So there is a lot of work already. There is a need for fuzzing test. This was reported by Marc Zingier. We need to emulate ill-behaved user spaces. We can write some ill-behaved guests as well, trying to use features that the host is not supporting. There is a support, there is the testing of nested virt, which is looming. And potentially also, I think there is some need for improving the documentation for the framework itself to make it to make the ramp up maybe more faster. I mean. Now let's have a look at KVM unit tests. So I chose to take two examples because I was involved in the development of those tests. So I'm going to talk about ITS MSI controller tests. So and the PMU test. So both of those tests are related to in-kernel emulated devices. So the goal of the ITS MSI controller test was to be able to program the translation for LPIs and to make sure and to trigger some interrupts, for instance, and make sure that the right interrupt was triggered eventually. So the drawback of this kind of test is that actually the programming of the device requires quite a lot of logic to set up the translation tables because it does some translation. So it's like an IOMMU, for instance. So writing such kind of logic comes to somehow rewriting a quick and dirty driver. So it was a lot of code. And it took quite a lot of effort to put in place all the headers, the helpers that were required to initiate the first test. Also, what was not very practical with this device is that the hardware device practically ignores most of the wrong programming, so it's not very tester friendly in the sense that you cannot easily check that when you apply a wrong configuration, this one is properly ignored or properly handled. Also, so I must confess that my test came too late in the development process. So I knew that, but so actually I wrote them as a bug reproducer for a bug that was reported to me related to ITS migration. And I revived the series I wrote quite a long time ago. So since the test came too late, so actually I did not find any bugs, and it's also due to the fact that I did a lot of efforts putting in place the environment, and unfortunately we tend to stop at this stage. And so what would have been I should have leverage on this infrastructure to write other tests on top of that. And I think it's still time to do that, but so it's costly and so well, we are all busy. But nevertheless, it was a good opportunity for me to enable migration testing on ARM. And I will talk about this feature later on. So for the PMU, so it was more, so the programming of the PMU is much more low level. So it's more a matter of writing into the registers, enabling the counters, setting up the proper filtering, triggering interrupts, checking the interrupts are properly hit. So it was much more easy with less logic in the test itself. Also, there were some existing tests related to the cycle counter. So it was more an incremental approach. And what was very interesting with this PMU test is that you have a fine-grained control on the registers, as opposed to if you were to use the perf layer, which adds some abstraction. So those tests arrived on time. because there was a new feature, chain counters, which had been introduced not so much time before. So I was able to find bugs and to fix them in the kernel. And also what is interesting is that we have some new versions for the PMU in 8.5, which bring 64-bit counters. And I think it will be very easily to leverage on those tests and increment them to test the new version. I discovered that some tests were not passing on the hardware, so it's always interesting to notice that. And also those tests were useful to validate the QEMU TCG PMU event counter support. So it shows that if you write tests, it can be used with QEMU KVM and QEMU TCG. So you must remember that when you write KVM unit test, you also test a user space. You focus on guest code. You have interesting scripts that enable to automate things and ease the CI integration. You can choose this test is going to run on TCG or KVM. It relates to ARM 32-bit, ARM 64-bit. You can test migration. You have also a nice framework to handle erratas. So typically this checks that you have a specific commit, and if you have this commit, you can adapt the test. So it also helps the CI integration. And we have also crying needs. We need more fuzzing tests. We need to test more vCPU feature. There is nested coming. We need to improve the coverage of existing tests, and I think maybe we should think about better advertising the framework from Linux. And Alexandru made a good suggestion, I think, which consists in adding a tag reported by KVM unit test. It may be interesting to improve the visibility and give credits to KVM unit test testing. Now I wanted to spend some time shedding the light on the fact that we need to develop tests on time, and for that we can use ARM models. Of course, we can use TCG as well, but so in my case, I chose to experiment usage of the AVP base model. So those are free of charge models. I started with a blog written by Andrew Murray, which I think is very interesting to start with. For me, the most difficult part was to find a good image, which must be light, but rich enough to compile the user space in case of KVM unit test. And also what was not so simple for me was to find a good device tree. I needed to hack it actually. And of course, you need to get familiar with the numerous options of the model to enable Virta-UNet, NIDP, and so on. So I eventually got a successful setup. So this is definitively not maybe the best setup you may find, but actually it works. So I compile my host and the test on natively on an ARM machine. I share them with NFS on my laptop. So I have the model, which is only x86. I build the boot wrapper image, which will be loaded by the model. I have my file system, and to make possible fast iteration, so I share the test, which were compiled natively on ARM, through NFS and through 9P. So this is my manner to share the test easily with on the guest. So I wanted to emphasize the fact that if you want to run a KVM unit test, so for me running QEMU was something that was not really bearable. So it's very slow. Also, generally, it's difficult to compile. So I think we really need to continue our efforts to shrink the executable and go in a direction that looks like to KVM tool in terms of size and execution speed. By tweaking the configuration and make it. So we will need to make it as light as KVM tool eventually, if it's possible. So with KVM tool, I was able to develop tests without any hardware. So those were the statistical profiling extension tests. Of course, I'm mostly interested in QEMU integration, and with KVM tool, I'm not testing that. I cannot test migration, but I think it's a good alternative to be able to develop tests on time. I wanted also to emphasize that with KVM tool, you directly launch your test with a KVM tool, so you do not have the same automation as the one as you have with a QEMU. But nevertheless, it's very helpful. So I don't want to spend much time on this slide, so it's for you to see the kind of model invocation I use. You can see the console of the model with my SPE test running. You can see the KVM tool command line, which is used in the guest, and the way I mount my shared directory, the directories that share test, KVM unit test and KVM self-test. Sorry. Now the last feature I wanted to talk about is the capability to test migration with KVM unit test and the QEMU user space. It's a very nice feature, actually. It gives you a great flexibility. So it's very easy to define such kind of tests. You need to put your test in the migration group. Then the framework will launch automatically the source QEMU and the destination QEMU transparently. And then you choose the instant when you start the migration from the guest. The guest code initiates the migration by outputting the migrate keyword, puts migrates. This is interpreted by the scripts. And upon this notification, the QMP migration command will be sent. Then the guest code needs to wait for the migration to complete. So it calls getChar, which blocks and which is unblocked at the moment where the migration is over, and the run script provides the stdin input. And the following guest code is executed on the destination side. So it's very easy and very practical because so typically for me, it helped me to reproduce the bug on the ITS migration where I needed MSIs to be pending. And so it was not that easy, but with that framework, it was very easy to reproduce. So as a conclusion, I would say we have two really nice frameworks which are largely underused on ARM, and it's really a pity. I think we need to pay attention to develop tests on time. That's where they are the most useful. And for that, I really think we can use QEMU TCG or ARM models in an efficient way. So what's very nice with those frameworks is that you can develop things with fast iterations. You do not need to wait for the guest to boot. I wanted to emphasize also that those frameworks are largely integrated in distro CIs. So regularly, those tests are run to check there are no regressions. So we still find developers using their own frameworks, but it's a pity because it could be CI integrated. And also, it's a very nice way to learn. And it's an easy way to contribute actually, and to keep up with the pace in the KVM for ARM subsystem. It complements the review process. You can put the hands in the dirt and pick and poke the registers, tweak the guest code. So it's very nice. And so I mentioned that many times. We have crying needs. We need bug reproducers. We need fuzzing. So I detailed that already. And as a last comment, I would say that I think we need to continue our efforts trying to get QEMU lighter to be runnable on the ARM MVP model. I know some people run QEMU on the model, but still, I think it takes too much time executing, and we can do better. And so this is the end of my presentation. So of course, feel free to contact me if you have questions on the setups and so on. I will be very happy to discuss that with you. So thank you very much for attending.